And welcome back to JKLIVE here at Citizen Television. We're listening to a very candid Moses Kuria, like you've never heard him before. I think the 3 months away from the country has really changed the man. Mheshimiwa is in Dubai, if you didn't know. He's been there on medical. He's had about 8 surgeries on his feet, and he's back on his feet. And yes, he's waxing. We want to see the old Moses Kuria, the one we were used to. And by the way, a moment ago, you talked about the messy divorce. You talked about the president's relationship with his deputy lacking chemistry the last 4 or 5 years. Your thoughts?
We used to have in the old days or in the old constitution, the president and the vice president. Then we were told now we have something called the presidency, whereby the president and the deputy president are supposed to be an item. So we were used between 2013 and 2017 to see the two together. Even in terms of the structure of government, the presidency was the president and the deputy president. Messages of Jamu holiday, Madaraka Day, New Year, Eid al-Fitr from the presidency. Never president and deputy president. In fact, it was like, an offense to mention the president without the deputy president. Now, the last 5 years, we know there's a president and a deputy president. So who in Kenya can tell you that it is business as usual between the president and the deputy president? No one. And I think Kenya has paid a price for this. It is not them who have lost personally. It is a country which has lost. And I hope that we don't have to go through that situation again as a country.
Yeah, a lot of people ask, the question that's never been answered, what went wrong between the two? What do you think, Mahesh? What went wrong? I think we're losing a bit of the sound. Mheshimiwa, if you can hear me, what do you think went wrong between the two? Go on, okay. That's right. As you put on that earphone, can you hear me now, Mahesh? I was asking the question, if you can hear me, Mahesh. I was asking, what do you think went wrong between the two? What do you think? All right. Well, looks like we're having some technical issues. Don't worry about that. This is TV and it's live. That's what happens. We'll give Mheshimiwa a call right now, get back to him, and see if we can keep asking questions, because there's lots and lots of questions. Tweets coming in very thick and very fast, and a lot of you wanting to know how he's actually feeling. He's been away for more than 3 months. Can you imagine? In Dubai, most of it in hospital. He's finally back on his feet again, and he's ready to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Mheshimiwa, we're trying to see if we can reconnect with you. Can you hear me? It's Jeff back in the studio. Can you hear me, Mheshimiwa? No? Can't hear. All right, we'll keep trying to dial. I think that's the best thing. Keep trying to dial. What are your questions? What are your comments to Gatunda South Member of Parliament, Moses Kuria? I see the tweets coming in so thick and so fast. A lot of people want to know what his take is on the future of MKF, Mount Kenya Foundation, now that Martha Karua has joined OKA. That's a very good question. Lots of questions, comments. I wonder what his take is on that. We'll ask him hopefully once we connect. Spike GG is saying, I hope Moses recovers quickly. I hope UHC comes and any Kenyan can afford healthcare services. Absolutely. It must be very expensive to have been there more than 3 months. Honorable Kaitani is saying, ask Moses Kuria, before he formed Chama cha Kazi, he was articulating for William Ruto's agenda and presidential candidature. What happened along the way? He appears 50-50 to work with DP. Actually, I did kind of ask him that question. He answered, he said William Ruto is still his friend and will still remain his friend, and he'll take the stand that he'll take. He'll let us know. Kabando Wakabando, good to see you in these streets, Mheshimiwa. He's saying, I am right now watching my Sonu treasurer and my UON Sonu rallies and press conferences speechwriter, Moses Kuria. That's right, back in the days, huh? Back in the day. Kabando Akabando. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Bob Brighton is saying, how can you increase representation in Kiambu without increasing the number of constituencies? Would you disband one in Mandera to create another in Kiambu? Very good question, Bob. That's what the BBI was trying to address at some point, and I think that's what Mheshimiwa was also trying to articulate. We're still trying to dial him up. Mheshimiwa, if you can hear me, let me know, and we'll continue the conversation. After all, it is live television. This is what happens. Sometimes the technology just does what it does. Mahesh, if you can hear me, we are back. Can you hear me? It's Jeff in the studios. We're still trying to connect. Lots of questions, lots of comments. Mheshimiwa, can you hear me? Are we back? Mheshimiwa? I think you can hear me now. I was coming through. Is it coming through, Mhesh? Yes. Ikosawa? It's gone off again. Mhesh Polisana. Yeah. We had gotten him, and I guess it's technology, folks. It's live TV. Trying to connect all the way in Dubai. Mhesh, can you hear me, Mhesh? Are we back?
Let's go to that phone. Yeah, sorry, Jeff, about that.
Excellent. Thank you for coming back. We were a little worried, but we knew you would come through as usual. And the last question I asked you as before you disconnected was, what do you think went wrong between the president and his deputy? What do you think, in your thoughts, what do you think went wrong?
Well, I think it was a breakdown of communication. I think the president wanted to end his term in a certain way. I don't think that the president took time to carry the deputy president with him in that journey of how he wanted to finish his term, and secondly, even the rest of us as Jubilee membership or members of parliament elected on that party. So, you may want to have the best intentions in the world, but leadership calls upon someone to, even if you think that you have seen ahead or you have got the right ideas, you have to carry everyone with you. So I think there was a failure of communication in terms of carrying people. Maybe later I have come to understand the president's intentions, but the sad thing is that this cannot be after the act. It is very important that if you are in a certain position, that you try to convince someone, hey guys, let's go to this direction, so that you can carry them with you.
Yeah, there's some critics who say the handshake is what ruined everything. What do you say, Mahesh?
I think it's not really the handshake as it was. It is communication of the handshake. And then second thing is what came to be interpreted as the objectives of the handshake. See, the handshake can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on, one, what you want with it. But the problem is that some people who are promoting the handshake, they viewed it as a tool to fight some political battles or to achieve some political objectives. And maybe that would explain why they never took time to explain the objectives behind the handshake to the rest of us. So we were left to grope in the darkness until the last minute. And if you remember even the BBI and the various launches we had in the BBI at Bomas of Kenya, I remember in one of the meetings, Junet Mohammed said, so-and-so cannot come near the BBI because they were not supporting it. So this us versus them thing, no matter what good intentions were there in the handshake, were lost in lack of inclusivity, in a process that was supposed to create inclusivity, and lack of wanting to convince everyone that we move together in the same direction. I think that's unfortunate. But I can't blame the handshake as it was, because how many other things had the president and deputy president agreed on before then? They had agreed on many things. Not that they were seeing eye to eye. I remember one of them. In fact, what was more difficult is naming of the second term cabinet. The first term cabinet was a consultative process between the president and the deputy president. In the second term, the president said, now I am the president, I have got my legacy, there is a way I want to finish my term, you guys leave it to me. I think the deputy president was gracious enough to give him that opportunity to name the cabinet, the second term cabinet by himself. What was more difficult? What was more at stake? Where were the stakes higher? The handshake or naming of the cabinet? So I don't think anyone could have begrudged the president had the president explained, you know, I want to go on this handshake, I want to talk to Mr. Odinga for this and that reason. The same way we gave him the mandate because he is one with the constitutional prerogative. The same way we gave him the blessings, please name I am telling you, Jeff, the cabinet that came in 2017, the president single-handedly, without anybody taking offense or being begrudged by anyone, the president selected the cabinet without any reference to anyone, as it should be. So I don't think that was the issue. But the issue is something like the constitution is not the president's property. It is a property for not just for us even. It is for all Kenyans, current generation and future generations. So there are some of those things which you can exercise your prerogative by yourself. But there are those things that, you really have to know that you are a part of the bigger game, and the bigger game is all of us as a country. So had the handshake been sold in a different way, had the president and his team taken cognizance of the fact that you can't start tinkering with things like the constitution without a broad-based consensus like the way Kibaki did in 2010, maybe things would have been different. Maybe nobody would have suspected the handshake. I regret that some of the things that were lost in BBI are well-meaning. But then again, why should they be lost? BBI was just a process. So in all these things, you find things which are a mixture of genuine things. Others are, political brinkmanship. Others are political conmanship, all mixed up in one. And well, that's where we are. And I think even as we wait for the verdict on the BBI, we've lost quite some opportunities as a country.
Yeah, that's a good summary of events and politics in Kenya. But let me ask you this, and I'm sure you've seen it in the news, the president declaring that he will campaign. He and the Jubilee Party will support Raila Odinga's Azimio la Umoja and campaign for them. What does that do to the deputy president, especially in the Mount Kenya region?
Well, now, one thing I support the president is that we are under 6 months to the next election, so that campaign is normal. It is legit. Now, it's that season of madness. So, the issue is whether that is going to have traction. I am very skeptical of that. I'm very skeptical. Of course, we don't want to belittle the efforts of anyone, but I think you mentioned about Mount Kenya region. There is one thing, Jeff, I want to say, which is, for me, very sad. And it's good I have this opportunity to say it on JKL, that the people of Mount Kenya have developed negative attachments to power and presidency. It's like it is reminding them of some bad things. It is like instead of being a dream, it has become a nightmare. How to remove that from the notions of the people of Mount Kenya region, I don't know. Right now, my fears and my regret is that the people of Mount Kenya region, they even think that power is a bad thing, that it creates bad things, it closes businesses, it gives poor prices to our milk, it impoverishes our coffee farmers. They say this thing called power should be as far away from us as possible. Of course, this is a knee-jerk reaction from the frustrations of the last 10 years, and it is wrong, but that's the reality. And my worry as a leader from that region is, how are we going to cure this from our people and tell them that kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa upishi? It's really worries me day and night, and I wonder what are we going to do to our people to make them believe that it is good to be in government, it is good to be in the decision-making table, it is good to fight for our rights, it's good to stand for what we deserve. Because right now they think that, what is this presidency that we've seen that has crossed our traders' businesses? What is this presidency that has cost us, tears for our farmers? What is this presidency that has caused everybody to be out of pockets? What is this presidency that has created joblessness as has not been seen in the past? So it is a huge psychological steps backward that we've taken. I think, in my opinion, Mount Kenya region has lost somewhere around 20 years, and how to recover this in terms of our self-belief, in terms of our sense of esteem. We are going to have a new generation that needs to be taken through counseling.
Yeah, and by the way, Mheshimiwa, you have been part of that leadership from Mount Kenya region.
We need to do is to take us through counseling.
But you have been part of that leadership yourself. Do you blame yourself for what's happened in Central?
Absolutely, Jeff. I have said this before. I've said it in the media. As a leadership, we could have done things differently. Remember on the eve of the New Year 2019, I was the first one to raise the flag, and I received quite a beating from people like Anne Waiguru when I said that Mount Kenya is getting a road deal, and they said that I'm disrespecting the president, blah 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 blah. But I wish I was listened to that particular time. I know some things changed. We've seen some projects like the drawing of the canal. Marwa Road, like the Mau Mau Road. Some things have happened since that time, but we never publicly acknowledge that some things are, because sometimes it's not even about doing those things. It's about giving people hope that yes, we do acknowledge that some things are not going right. Almost every other thing that was going wrong, there has been an effort to make right, including the issue of traders now, the importers from Nyamakima, from Gikomba. I know the president, has worked with the association to, give them some alternative site around railways where they are carrying out their business without harassment. So there has been an effort to remedy these things. But 50% of a solution, of solving a problem, is admitting to a problem. Sadly, we've never come to admit a problem. So we have never come to admit that some things are going wrong. Yes, there is some effort to remedy, but this lack of admission that there is a problem is what has contributed to people's pessimism, to the cynicism and skepticism that we have seen, especially within Mount Kenya region. But then again, I don't think we are unique. I'm a traveled person around the country. When I go to Kisii, I get the same problems. When I go to Western Kenya, when I go to Coast, the same problem. Because our people, maybe they have been used to businesses and to a business environment that has always been thriving, maybe it has been more pronounced within Mount Kenya region. But these problems again are not uniquely Mount Kenyan. They affect all regions of the country.
Yeah, and those problems you talk about, can they be solved by the current lineup of presidential candidates? Can they?
I think the jury is out, Jeff. And that's why I'm asking for, really, let us probe these things. Do you want to go back to another disappointment? Do you want to start, regretting tomorrow? Do you want just to say, oh, me I'm Azimio, me I'm Kenya Kwanza, without this, subjecting exactly minute detail of where we want to take Kenya forward? Where do we want to repeat this again? Remember, we had a lot of hope in 2002 when Moi was going. Remember, again, 2013, we were celebrating and we were so hopeful. And then now again, we go with the same emotion. We vote in another government and then we start crying again. You know what I'm telling Kenyans? If you vote and every time after you vote you cry, then vote for an onion or piri-piri. Then you know why you are crying.
It looks like you've missed being on the ground.
See you on Saturday, Jeff. No, but it is true. It is time to be probing. It's time to be kidogo too analytical, to take a step backward. Not join these chorus of, oh, Kenya Kwanza, oh, Azimio. It is a reality that we are going to have a president. We cannot have, a vacant position of the president. But for crying out loud, let us agree that some things that have happened in the past will not happen again. Let us take time. Let us not be just join that emotion of chorus and sloganeering. And then, after 6 months, we start saying, Afadhali Kibaki, as we say today, oh, where is Uhuru? Uhuru was better. Really, we have a chance now. This is a chance. We have got abundance of choices. We can choose unity over division. You can choose love over hate, and you can choose to be analytical and to ask questions now.
Absolutely.
But people just want this, sloganeering, oh, who is for this one, hate, division. Then so what? Then what after 1 year? Then what when now starts things? For the longest time I've been a member of the budget committee, and I really pity the guy who is going to be president of Kenya. Because, the fiscal space, the leg room in the fiscal space is so constrained, is so narrow, that even the bottom up or the 6,000 shillings, I really wait to see how that is going to be done, and that's how it's going to be. We need to have a discussion. And, I really hope that as we move closer to 9th of August and we have the presidential debate, I hope we can be able to even set up a team of bodies such that as Institute of Economic Affairs or Kipra, to really, first of all, interrogate the applicability, the reality, the realism behind some of these, slogans that we are putting out there, so that we know when we flag you off, and we know that every year or every 6 months we can be able to take a checkpoint and see where we are in that direction. So far, right now, to go back to your question, the jury is out. Let us probe. Kenyans, join me. Let us ask questions. Let us interrogate. Let us really, go into some, discovery process of these people who are offering themselves to lead our country, and see exactly what do they mean. Do they say what they mean, and do they mean what they say?
Absolutely. Mheshimiwa, before I let you go, we're going to go online because there's been a lot of reactions, a lot of response to from Kenyans from around the country and around the world, and there were a few comments. Here's Montana Kelvin saying, I think Moses Kuria is very smart tackling the questions you asked, but we need to know where his political party is heading and what was his main reason for leaving Jubilee.
I think, Jeff, in terms of where the party is heading, I've stated very clearly that I want a party that is going to safeguard the interest of Kenyans, irrespective of who is going to be the president of this country. I want to have a party that Kenyans can say, oh, we are so fearful, we don't trust this or that one, but thank God we have got Chama cha Kazi, so who are going to stand for the interest of Kenyans, irrespective of those that are there. And why I left Jubilee is when Jubilee stopped answering to my aspirations and to what I believe in, my stay was untenable.
Okay.
Because there's nowhere we agree to close people's businesses.
All right, listen to this one from Bernard Sambu. He said, from personal healing... there's
nowhere we agree as Jubilee.
Yeah. Here's another tweet from Bernard Sambu. He says, from personal healing to national healing. Mheshimiwa, talk to Uhuru to reunite with the deputy president. Also talk to Raila that Azimio la Umoja should not edge out other leaders. I wish you were offering yourself as a presidential candidate. That's what Bernard Sambu is saying. What are your thoughts? This country needs major healing, you think?
That is it. That is it, Jeff. We can say that again. It is never too late. We can still heal this country. Now that all the people who have been playing games with the issues of unity, now that we know where we are, we can still, and I want to agree with Bernard that we can still, all these leaders, and we'll continue talking to them, and personally I agree with Bernard, and I'll continue talking to them. I'll continue talking to the president, I'll continue talking to Mr. Odinga, to Mr. Ruto, to Mr. Musali, and all these people, that we still can heal the country, the elections of 9th of August notwithstanding.
Listen to this next tweet. I know you're a football fan, so you will relate to this. It's anonymous. They're saying everyone in political camps is hunting for Moses Kuria like he was Lionel Messi. From the look of things, Kuria is Messi here and is heading to PSG. So, who is PSG according to you, if you were to put it politically? Which PSG are you heading to?
Well, I can say, wait for the transfer window. It's not on.
Very nice. Mheshimiwa, always good to talk to you.
When it comes, you'll be the first one to know.
Okay. Mheshimiwa, let me give you
in mid-season.
Let me give you the last word, Mheshimiwa. Talk to the people of Gatundu South especially who are seeing you for the very first time since 2021. I mean, it's the first time this year, so go ahead.
Oh, my. Jeff, I miss those people. And I want to tell them I miss you, the people of Gatundu South, for your solidarity, for your love, for standing with me. You know, I get emotional talking about those people, for the support they gave me, you know, being very patient, even, you know, throughout my hospitalization. And all I can promise you is, as your MP, even when I'm not your MP, I'll continue standing up for you and standing up for your rights. And I'm sure that those people don't regret voting for me. That's what gives me satisfaction. That if I'm asked to account for my time as a member of parliament, you know, I will not account. I'll ask them to account for me, and I'm happy they will account for me. And I'm sure that even in the journey that we are going ahead of forming a strong party, some people have called us tribal parties and village parties. But you know what, Jeff, you know, in the old days, even nowadays, in every region has got a bus. There's a bus company that goes to every region. If you're going to Kisii, you board Keroka Express. If you're going to Embu, there's a bus called Riakanau. If you're going to Western Kenya, you board Bukinya. If you're going to Coast, Coast Express or Mombasa Raha. There's nothing wrong with a party having its roots in a particular region. And those people who are calling us village parties, we are villagers and proud villagers.
Moses Kuria, as always, good to see you, and thank you so much for your time. I know it's been a tough 3 months, but congratulations, well done, and quick recovery, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Season Jeff.
Well done,
thank you very much.
Well done. Appreciate that. That was Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria live in Dubai. And by the way, we'd like to thank, among other people, our crew who was in Dubai for the Dubai Expo 2020, and they diverted to go and do this interview for us. Stephen Shatera, Dennis Otieno, Philip Mwandeki. Thanks, guys, for coming through. Really appreciate it. Thank you for making this possible. Thank you for your tweets. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. Hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. All I can say is stay tuned. It's gonna be an interesting ride ahead. Thanks so much for watching. Good night. Good luck. God bless you all.